2 super chats. So we have here a generous friend of the program who's been a big, good friend of the program for many, many years. Do you, K Now, the broke boy insider, drops a very generous $10 super chat. He goes on to say, the Xbox tax is real. Read one review for South of Midnight, say it had an excellent story, graphics, and soundtrack, but gameplay was stale and uninspiring, gave it a 7. The same site gave The Last of Us 2 Remastered a 10. Look, I was going to reserve this for potentially another conversation, but you brought it up, Will, and I'm going to say this. I encourage anyone that considers themselves to be a human being, right? That's a broad stroke here. If you look in the mirror and you're like, yeah, I'm a human, and I give a F about other people and cultures, and I'm not bogged down by stupid conversation that when something doesn't fit a narrative, you automatically blame DEI. If you're a human, you're effing human, okay? And you play video games. You owe it to yourself to try South of Midnight. Now, again, because we don't do the names thing here, speaking to many of my personal peers, people I consider to be extensions of my family, we had a very, very inspiring and emotional conversation regarding this game. And each one of us that we spoke to, and I spoke to 3 of them so far, and and again, no names here, everyone that I spoke to had a different opinion regarding a different chapter on how it hit them emotionally. You heard me during my interview, my review yesterday, that for me it was chapter 2. For a couple of other podcasters that I spoke to, it was chapter 12. It was chapter 7. And the more I talk to people about this game, we are all taken aback by a different chapter because it means something, and it's similar, it runs parallel to something that happened in our personal life. The stories here are real. The graphics are probably some of the best we've seen on Xbox. I mean, you just look at the screen, folks. This is compressed because of I'm playing this on YouTube while we're doing a podcast. And I'm here to tell you that this AA studio that had only 2 games to its roster of created content before this game punched extremely out of their weight. Like, they punched way out of their class. And this game is a perfect example of what happens when you have time, you have money, but more importantly, you have passion for the story you are trying to tell. Is the gameplay and combat perfect? It is not. You heard me talk about that yesterday. I gave you quite a few cons that could be better or should have been better. This game is a 9 out of 10. Now, if you have someone that comes in and says it's a 7, that's your opinion. Feel free to go out there and put yourself out there and say it's a 7. Give a detailed reason as to why. I personally don't care. But you're absolutely right. There is an Xbox tax that is once again blatant. I know people are going to be, boo, boom, you're capping, you're Xbotting. No, I'm not. I'm being absolutely honest because I am here to tell you, and if you disagree with me, that is fine. You are not getting me off this hill. If this is a PlayStation exclusive, if this is a PlayStation 5 exclusive, you are going to have people creaming themselves to play this game and give it a 10 out of 10. I'm sorry to be graphic, but that is the effing reality. But because this is an Xbox exclusive, because it's a smaller studio that punched way above their weight, you're going to get people to give it. Like, for instance, the most disappointing for me was VGC. They gave this game a 6. I don't know what game that they played, but this is not a 6. And I don't understand how it got to be a 6, but it is what it is. I don't really care about anyone else's score. What I can do to you as a fellow gamer is say, please play this game. And if you have it on Game Pass, you can play it on the 8th for your service fee. And I guarantee you that even if you think the game is not worth it, you're going to find something in this game that you're going to be like, wow. Whether it be the graphics, the sound, the voice acting, the characters, whatever. It's all it all comes together in what I to believe to be an important piece of gaming. If you don't feel that way, I'm not going to hate you. I'm not going to say anything negative about you, but you're not going to get me to move off of 9 of this game. And I gave plenty of cons, but plenty of pros as well. But again, sorry for the rant, folks, but yeah, I just think that this gaming industry is just ultimately a lot of the journalists, and I use that term loosely, are disgusting. Because there are times where you can look past someone's gameplay being basic and give a score. And I'm not saying to overlook it. You can make mention of it, but there's nothing about this game that's broken. See, that's where I get angry, because if it was broken, then I would say something like, "Oh my God, every time I try and glide, I fall too short, or it's broken. It twitches." Now, there's some jumping situations that need to be addressed, and you'll see me fall a couple of times. Yes, but I made that very apparent in my review. But this game is a 9, and to see that it's getting beaten up. Where what again? Just look at it. And a perfect example is, look, again, sorry for the rant, folks, but we're here, right? So F it. Hellblade 2 is a perfect example. There was a particular journalist. She will remain nameless, because we don't really do that, because I don't want any kind of bullying, because I don't stand for that. And if you read her review of Hellblade 1, PlayStation 4 exclusive, she's crying in the chair. Like, literally tears are coming down, uncontrollable tears. And she said that in her review, and she said it while she was playing live. And then, of course, she reviews 2, and even though 2 is better in graphics, better in sound, better in story, better in combat, better in every aspect, every complaint that anyone had for Hellblade 1 was addressed and fixed in 2. The game is a 6. The first game, 10. What is she? A PlayStation gamer. So that, to me, tells me that instead of trying to review the game and being honest about the game that you're playing, you are allowing for console war rhetoric to judge what is a masterclass level of storytelling, especially because you are dealing with the fact that psychosis is a part of Senua, and that was somehow missed in the review. Again, apologies for it, but I'm not going to shy away from calling out the bullshit. So I'm just not going to do that. Kenta Wilson drops a very generous $7 super chat. So Kenta, great to see you here, brother, and thank you very much for the very generous $7 super chat. He says, South of Midnight is amazing. I hope it gets the credit it deserves. I think that, again, and I'm not trying to be facetious or even effed up. If you are a human and you consider yourself to be a human that actually cares about stories, that just doesn't look at a game and be like, "Oh, it's an Xbox game, so not really for me." Don't be that person. Play the game. And if you don't like it after playing it for 5-6 hours, that's fine. What am I going to tell? I don't care one way or the other. But what I don't want to see, and what I get sick and tired of seeing, is, "Oh, it's an Xbox game. It's mid. It's Game Pass fodder." And you get people that have played maybe half an hour of the game. That's just, to me, it's just disingenuous nonsense. But that's fine.